All right, so here's the last type of problem. So here they're giving us an input value, right, instead of just x. So probably the best thing to do with this is to just go inside out. So just do this first, and then once you get that value, then we'll substitute it in there for g and for h of -3, and then we'll plug that into the g function. All right, so I'm going to evaluate h of -3 first. So here's h, right? So it's just going to be -3 quantity squared minus 1, right? Don't forget to put parentheses around, especially negatives when you plug them in. All right, so now just some PEMDAS. So -3 squared is +9, minus 1 is 8, right? So h of -3 is 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to redo this function. I'm going to do g of, but instead of h of -3, I'm going to put 8 in there. Okay. All right, so all we did is we just replaced h of -3 with what it amounts to, or what it comes out to, which is 8. And so now I'm going to do g of 8, right? So here's the g function, x plus 4. So instead of x plus 4, it's just going to be 8 plus 4. And we could put parentheses around there, but we don't need it because we're not multiplying, or we don't have anything that's really happening to the x besides just adding 4. So 8 plus 4 is 12. And so that's our answer to g of h of -3 is 12. All right. Okay, now here we have a triple one. We have f of g of h of -2. So we're going to go start inside out. Okay, so another way to write this real quickly is f of g of h of -2. Okay, so I want to do h of -2 first. All right, so use this function. So it's going to be -2 squared like that, right? We always put the negative in parentheses, especially if it's negative, and especially if you're squaring it. When you input it, make sure you put in parentheses. So then that turns out to be +4 minus 1, which is 3. So now I can put 3 in here, right? So now I'm going to do g of 3, right? All right, and g is the x plus 4 function, so it's going to be 3 plus 4, right? All right, and 3 plus 4 turns out is 7. I don't know if you knew that. So then now I'm going to put 7 in for all of this, right? Because so 7 is what g of h of -2 is. So now I'm going to put all that in for the f of x function. So I'm going to do f of 7. Okay, so it's almost just kind of like a domino effect, right? You just keep pushing down one domino, that knocks down the next domino, knocks down the next domino. So f of 7. So here's the f function, 3x. So instead of putting an x, I'm going to put a 7 in there. And 3 times 7 is 21. So that's what f of g of h is. F of g of h of -2 is 21. All right. So that's how it's done. Hopefully all that makes sense and it's not too bad for you. Let me know if you have any questions, and bring them to class or email me. And if you need to, if you're struggling with anything, please set up some time to come in either to office hours, or we can set up another time that works for us to meet, and I'd love to help you.